Hey guys! How's it going? It's been a long time since I've done a live stream. I'm not sure if anybody can hear me yet, so I'm gonna wait for someone to get in the chat and hopefully tell me that it's working. And while I do that, I'm gonna share. Hey Katie, can you hear me? Yes, perfect. Awesome. It's been a long time since I've done a live stream and I just really had the urge to get on today and chat. So, how's it going, guys? My computer turned off. I used my computer for the actual chat feature. It's easier to see. Let me see if I can do this. Nope, that's not gonna work. Okay. Well, I wanted to kind of get on here and just give you guys some updates, let you know how life has been going because things are looking up for me and I really wanted to share that with you. But I have a lot of videos in store. I actually have currently 3 videos that are filmed but not edited yet. And I just have to edit them and get them up. But they a whole bunch of different topics. I got a fun one, a Q&A that I said I'd do back in January, and just a whole bunch of other stuff. Yeah. Sorry, I'm waiting for my computer to load. But how's everybody doing? I haven't been my video today was amazing. Thank you. I was so pumped for that video. We filmed it last night. As soon as I saw the Special Books by Special Kids video, I was like, oh my gosh, I have to react to this. I cannot wait. It was just so good. And Greg and I filmed that last night, and it took a while. We probably filmed for an hour, and then I stayed up so late editing, 3 a.m. late. And it was so worth it because I'm so happy with the product. I feel like it's the best performance that Greg and I have done, give and take with our conversation. And the topic was just ASPD has I have a soft spot in my heart for it, which kind of sounds silly when you realize what it is, but I do. And Greg and I spend a lot of time talking about it just in our normal life. So being able to share that with you guys is just amazing. The video that Chris did on Special Books by Special Kids was just so amazing. I have talked about ASPD with Greg for years. We've known about this, since we've been back together, and it actually made me see things differently. I actually was able to understand him on a deeper level, and I didn't expect that to happen. But even in the video, I don't know if you got the whole way through it, he talks about this a ripple chart that he had to do while in the therapeutic community. Any water? He never told me about that ripple chart before. That's the first time he's ever mentioned it to me. And so basically what it is when they're in prison, they have to take their crime and they do a ripple chart and they write down who it affected and how it affected them, and then ripple it out to each level to go to a society level. And I just think that is such an amazing tool. Imagine if you did that for every mistake you made. You, instead of just looking at it at that superficial up close personal level, if you realized how far your mistakes rippled out. I really should have checked to see if my computer was turned on before I started this, but I'm a little out of practice. I can't see if anybody chats while I'm using my phone to film because I'm lazy and I don't like to use my webcam. But that video, my last 2 videos and a video we did a while ago is actually really taking off right now, which is so cool to see that I don't know, to see people listening to our story about antisocial personality disorder just means so much to me, because all I want to do with these videos is to humanize it. I don't want to excuse it. I don't want to make excuses for it or say this is right and you should just forgive them and accept it, no, that's not at all what I mean, but I want people to humanize it, and I feel like Chris did that. Okay, it's almost loaded. And then I can tell you some of my stuff that I wanted to tell you. Goodness, it's taking me forever. Okay, there. Come on, I can see it. Okay, whatever. There we go. Okay. Actually can do live streams at any point now because I'm not working anymore. I'm still not working, but I have started working on a bunch of other things. I've started working on YouTube more. I came in December and said that I was really excited to focus more time on YouTube, and then like I did my giveaway and made like a video or two, and then it looked like I kind of disappeared there for a little. And I said that I manifested time for YouTube, and I did. I just didn't spend it on the front end of YouTube. So I started taking courses. I took this one class. I learned all about tags and titles and all this crazy stuff. And I learned how to research topics and do like keyword analysis. And that's kind of how this antisocial personality disorder thing happened. And I've been really focusing on that. So now I'm at the point where I've done all this work on the back end of my channel, like keywords and planning. I have like a list of 100 video ideas, and now I'm just churning them out. Like I'm just putting them out, and it's really exciting. So it feels so good to finally be here on, like, it took a while to get here, but I'd been out of practice for a while. I guess it's probably not the best time to go live right now. People are getting off work and stuff, but I wanted to share that I've been journaling a lot more, and I said I would do a video about journal prompts, and if people are still interested in that, we can totally do that. But I was thinking that I've been doing like habit trackers and things like that, and I realized that last month I had my first month without a single depressive episode that kept me in bed. And that is just such a good feeling. And I really wanted to share kind of what I've been doing to get there. So I'm just going to treat this like it's a regular video. I figure that's the best way to do it. I just wanted to use my free time wisely, I guess. So I read this book by, oh goodness, I don't remember what it's called, by the author, but it's called Atomic Habits. And essentially he teaches you how to create small tiny habits and build on them, and then they turn into this, like, they ripple into this big lasting change. And I've been slowly implementing all these different habit changes or different steps and seeing great success, which feels so silly to me because I was struggling so hard there. Like, I lost my job, I fell into a deeper depression, I beat myself up over something that wasn't even my fault. Like, I got fired for something that wasn't even, there was nothing I could do about it. I had an emergency and I had to go to the hospital, and it was I'm disappointed that I got let go, but I understand why. It's just my boss didn't do it in the best way possible, and it kind of burned a bridge. And then he tried to say that he, like, I don't even want to get into it, but unemployment almost didn't give me money. Like, I almost didn't get unemployment, and I totally deserved it. Thankfully, I had to, I guess, do an interview, and I got to fight my case. But I don't know. I made that video, and I came on here and was just like, yeah, shit's not working out. And I got so freaking tired of it not working out and feeling like a failure that I actually did something about it. And I'm going to talk about it a little bit more in a video that's coming up. It's the Q&A video, because a lot of people ask about goals and stuff, so I don't want to share too many details, but I have been doing different things that, like, I wake up every day now at 9 a.m. or 9 a.m. or earlier without an alarm and get up. And, like, that is just such an absurd thing to me. I could not do that for years. And I thought that was just how life was. Like, I was like, I'm not a morning person, I guess. I just don't know how to wake up. But no, I just was really, really depressed. And I don't know. I feel like I want to. My phone's going off. Oh, goodness. Okay. Ignore that. Okay. So I also started keeping track of different other habits, like habit trackers. I forget to do the damn habit trackers, but I do like a daily log. I've developed all these different systems to, like, try to manage my distractions, try to just create a routine, because I do best when I have a routine. It's like the simplest things that I struggled with had simple answers. That just, I mean, it makes sense, but I never really did it. I was always trying to do it in other ways. I always just expected to just get it, to just be able to wake up and understand how to keep a normal house, like keep your house clean, how to manage your job and your kid and your house, and I I I didn't have any systems in place. I just kind of was winging it, and it was a terrible idea. But yeah, I have started training for a different program, and I've been doing different job searches. Hey Jess, how are you doing? I'm mostly just rambling because I wanted to do a live stream and I'm super out of practice, so I'll probably not even keep this one up. I just really wanted to get back in the swing of it. I used to do live streams like once a week, but I haven't for a while. I was saying how last month was the first month that I didn't have a single depressive episode that kept me in bed in God knows how long. All of 2019, every single month I had at least 3 days in bed. Katie said, yes, girl, that's amazing. Little bits of progress at a time. I'm interested in the journaling. I have seen habit trackers, workout, etc. I'm finally feeling good enough to start making changes too. Awesome. Yeah, I will definitely share it. I wanted to share a video about my distraction techniques, like how I manage my distractions, because mitigating my distractions has made everything else so much easier. This year I have a whole bunch of different mantras. The problem with I'm hesitant because everything I want to talk about, I'm editing the video, I'm editing my Q&A video, and it said all of that in there. So you're going to hear me say duplicate things, and sorry, I'm just too excited. But I have developed this thing, I call it a distraction journal. So while I'm while I'm doing a task, I'll sit down and I'll keep my notebook with me. And if something pops up in my head, I just write it in my distraction journal, and then I carry on with my work. And it's something like that that's so freaking simple and obvious, but I never did it before. And that way I don't forget the task. I don't have to worry about, oh my gosh, what if I don't remember to do it? I'm the kind of girl that if I set alarms are just another noise for me to turn off. They don't mean anything. I forgot to take my trash out 2 weeks in a row, and it was so much trash that you would think the next week, the second week, you can't, how could you forget that? You forgot it once. Nope, we had 6 bags of trash, and I was so frustrated, but I always forget it, and it's Wednesday nights is my trash night, so I still didn't get my trash together. I guess that's because I wait too long. But so I created a distraction journal. I created this thing called a chaos funnel. It's just managing myself. I'm putting in systems into place. And I wish I just would have done it sooner. I never even thought about it. That's the stupid thing. It's the easiest things to do, and I never thought about it. I just expected it to come naturally. I thought everybody else just does it naturally. Everybody else just has it together, so why can't I? And I'm starting to realize that people probably don't have it together, or they might, but they have their own systems. Oh goodness. I feel like I got this late start in life because of my my addiction, because I didn't really get out. I got out of jail, I think, around 25, 24, and then I still had a year or two in me of, drinking and being stupid. So I didn't settle down until 28-ish, and that's just a little bit too late. So, I don't know. Everybody was so impressed because I waited to have a child until I was in my 30s, but that's because I'm still a child myself. I'm not capable of quite having an adult life yet. Does anyone else feel like you're not that old? I don't feel hey Lindsay, I don't feel like I'm 33. 33 doesn't feel any different than 23 does, or did. Maybe it does, but I just can't really tell. I just feel time is the weirdest fucking concept to me. I don't understand it, and I can't be alone in feeling like that. I'm 33. I've been out of high school for how long? And yet it feels like I only graduated maybe 5 or 6 years ago. But no, it's been 15 or more. How many years has it been? 2004? 16 years. It's been 16 years. Wow. How does time work? Does anyone know? It doesn't make any sense. But I started actually reading a book about that. It's called When. It I didn't get very far into it yet, but it's essentially a how-to book. Only instead of how to do something, it's when to do shit, like when to accomplish your tasks, when to manage your stuff, and just how to take action basically based off of science. I haven't gotten far enough in to say it's like a scientifically valid theory, but there's 3 different types of people, they say. There's like a morning bird, a night owl, and like a lark something. Game Boy, what do you think about that new shot? The Suboxone shot? Is that the one you're talking about? I think that's what you mean. The Suboxone sounds like it's an amazing process because it takes the whole well, I don't know if that's true. I was going to say it takes the mental aspect out of tapering because you don't have to physically give yourself a lower dose. But I've heard really great things about it. I've heard better things for Suboxone than I have about Vivitrol because it is an actual opioid, but I've been tapering slowly, like incredibly slowly, and I was going to make a video about it. I just didn't know. I'm hesitant to because YouTube doesn't like it when I talk about those medications. And it sucks because like that was the whole reason I started this channel was because I didn't really care. I was just going to get out here and do it, and I was going to talk about it anyway and not care if I made money, which is great. But now that I'm actually trying to use YouTube as a platform to, I don't know, I can't, there's something I'm not telling you that will be announced in my next video about my job, a career, and YouTube plays into it. So like I want to keep YouTube safe now. I don't want to screw it up and talk about medication or things like that when I'm not a doctor because they don't like it. Like they will not monetize the videos, and then they hide that, like they actually get less views, and it's stupid. It's stupid because I always say that I'm not a doctor. I'm not trying to give medical advice, but like, shit, I feel like I know more about Suboxone than a lot of doctors do. I'm going to read some of these comments. So Jennifer said, you have 6 years of sobriety. You still get the same way sometimes as well. When you were 32, you were 32 when you got sober, and you're going to be 38 this year. It feels like a freaking lifetime. You think time goes slowly? Man, I think time, like, well, I don't, is that how I feel? Time goes slowly? I think time is just something that I cannot understand. Like, it feels incredibly slow, and then it'll also feel incredibly fast at the same time. Game Boy was doing research on Suboxone, and that's how you found me. Yeah, I can. There is a channel that has a guy he is on Suboxone. Have you heard of him? It's like The Recovery. I think it's The Recovery. I haven't been to his channel in a while, but if you haven't gone to that, I'll type it in here. It's either The Recovery or go to Real Talk Recovery. And she is friends with him, so they know a lot about Suboxone too. And The Recovery, if that's still the name of his channel, he's on it, so he'd be a great resource for you. Are you on it, or are you just considering getting on it? Hey Jason, long time no see. I mean, I haven't been on live stream, so that probably explains it. Thanks for saying hi. And then do an update on my taper. Well, I'll definitely do it. I'm also gonna do a Q&A about Suboxone because I figured I might as well just knock it all out with like two videos. But I can tell you a little bit now about the taper. The CDC actually changed their recommendations for tapering, which is like, it's still a bit crazy, but it's more accurate. So the way that they used to recommend was 10 milligrams or 10%, I think. I have to look it up for sure. I have it saved in a folder, but it's like 10%, I think, each week. And a week, like, no, it was 10 milligrams. It's definitely 10 milligrams per dose per week or whatever. I think they were referring to like oxys instead of Suboxone because that's a lower dosage. And, the Suboxone was brought up today. I think it's a great option. I think it's really, the only thing I would be concerned about, I know I bounce between topics a lot. I'm sorry guys, I'm ADHD. But, hey Jess, the Suboxone, just make sure that you know what will happen if you feel like your dosage is not high enough at the end of the month. because I'm sure there could be like an anxiety period where you might have psychosomatic symptoms, or you might actually not have a high enough dosage, and what the protocol is in case that happens. That's what I would ask, because that would be my deciding factor. If they say, well, you tough it out until your appointment, then I'd be like, no, I'm not going to get on it. I'll stick to my daily dosage. But if they are understanding, and like especially if you have like clean UAs and stuff like that, then I would like the policy to be like, they will come in and evaluate you, maybe take your vitals and see how your body is responding, to see if you need to take like a breakthrough dosage. It'd be like you're having breakthrough withdrawal symptoms before your second. Is the Suboxone monthly? I think the injection is a little bit longer. When they told us it wasn't addictive, and you laugh now. Oh man, when I tell you, like, the stuff that they said, first of all, when Suboxone first came out, when I first was introduced to it, it was only for a week. You only got it for a week. You got 8 milligrams on one day. Hey, Caitlin, it was 8 milligrams, 6, 4, 2, 0, and then that was it. Like, none of this, like, I've been on it for like 5 years now, and I don't have any regrets being on it that long, but I definitely didn't expect to be on it that long. This is my second time on it, and the first time I was on it for a year and got off no issues, like, at all. It was the easiest thing I've ever done. And this time around, I've had a harder time managing the psychosomatic symptoms, because I know that my body shouldn't be withdrawing or detoxing from it, but sometimes I will just get a random hair at my butt and feel like I'm not getting enough Suboxone, and all of a sudden, like, I could have taken it like 12 hours ago when it lasts 24, and sometimes it'll just be like, I don't know, I'll feel like I'm sick, and once that thought gets in my head, I will just cannot convince myself otherwise, and then I have to tough it out. Yeah, it's crazy. And then, so I found a way to manage that though with my taper, and I will talk about it more in a video, because I'd rather make sure it's like all said correctly. I don't want to give anybody like medical advice in this live stream, so I'm not going to talk about it in detail, but I can make that actually tomorrow. I can film that one tomorrow. It'll probably be up then sometime next week, I would think. Jess, when am I coming to visit you? I'll buy my plane ticket soon. Just tell me when. I'm like looking, because I have my camera here and then my phone here, so I'm looking at the wrong thing. David, you just found out you're adopted. Do you have any advice? Well, I would think that if I found out that I was adopted, I would maybe be interested in finding out about the biological parents, but I don't think an adoption would change too much about anything, because they love, if my mom would come to me today and say, Megan, you're adopted, I would think that it wouldn't change anything, because my stepdad's not my biological dad, and I love him just as much. He raised me like I was his own anyway. So I think that it's really, it's going to be up to you, but I just think that your parents probably didn't tell you until now because they wanted to protect you. It's a silly thing. They don't think that that's looking back, it doesn't make any sense, but at the time they didn't want to tell you because they were trying to protect you. But good luck with that, David. Jennifer said they gave you 16 milligrams at first. They started me on 20 milligrams the second time around. The first time around, well, like I said, the first time I ever heard of it was only for a week long, and then when I was prescribed it, I was prescribed for a year, and I started at 8 milligrams. And now, the second time around, I was prescribed 20 milligrams to start, and I did not stay that high. That was way too high. But that was for me. It could be, it's so dependent on the people. It depends on, what drugs you were using, how long you were using them, how you were using them. The second time around, I was not using actual, street illicit drugs. I was on pain medication. So I don't know if maybe that was, just not as bad. It didn't have fentanyl in it. So I think if you are using, actual dope these days, you probably need a higher dosage of Suboxone because of the fentanyl in it, because of the higher affinity binding. Jason, you're binging my videos. You'll have to message me, Jason. Because I haven't been on YouTube very much. Like I was saying, most of you guys missed it. I have been doing a lot of work on the back end of YouTube. So I came back in December and said that I was really excited to like have more time to focus on YouTube. And then I didn't like really make anything, but that's actually because I was taking a class. I started a different training program and have been doing a bunch of different things. And right now I have 3 videos already filmed that I just have to edit and they can go up. And I have like a long list of like 50 video ideas. I sent it to Jess once. I got like 50 video topics that I could just, whenever I want, just film those. So I've definitely got a better system in place now and it's helped a lot. But in the last month or 2, I haven't been on YouTube very much because I've been doing so much freaking work and training and stuff. Training to do YouTube, right? Like, I'm the only person that would, like, I would do YouTube and want to take a class because that's how I enjoy it. Let's see. I should move this closer so I'm not leaning so much. Let's do that. Wow, very nice. Very nice. Like, normally it has been any other time. I don't know what you're saying there, Jennifer. I believe that pharmacies make them don't put all the right medication in them because you go through the same. Then you take it one day and you feel like your dose isn't the same as... Dude, Suboxone is so psychosomatic. The psychological addiction to Suboxone or buprenorphine is way more intense than the physical. And the physical is pretty bad because it has that long half-life. It has a 37-hour half-life, so that means it takes 37 hours to get halfway out of your system, which is crazy. And Jason, message me on Instagram. It's the same name as here, just Megan F. And so the psychosomatic thing, I kind of got distracted there. When I take it, I thought that in tapering, if I split my dose between 2 doses in the day, so instead of taking 4 milligrams, I would take 2 milligrams in the morning and 2 in the afternoon. It is the stupidest thing. Do not ever do that. I highly don't recommend it because now I will take one. I have to take the morning one, and then I will take my afternoon one, not even a full 12 hours later, and then I will go the rest of, 18 hours overnight and be completely fine until sometime mid-morning. It makes absolutely no sense why I have to go, I can only go, 8 hours in the day, and then the rest of the... Why? Why does your brain do that? Because Suboxone's a weird thing. It definitely is. Pretty positive you have ADHD. Finally worked up the courage to talk to a doctor about it, and he's referring you to a specialist. And if you could give any advice about adult ADHD, would you appreciate it? I'm scared to get the diagnosis, but happy to finally find out. Is that normal? Yes. I have been so ashamed of it for so long because I felt like people were going to look down on me. I thought that people would think that I was lying, or that most of the time I think that people think it's not a real diagnosis, like it's not a real problem. But if you to see how I talk, I talk in circles, and I'll start a conversation here, and I'll go over here, and then I'll pick up a new conversation, and then I'll circle back, and then I'll be back on this conversation, finish it up. My thoughts just bounce everywhere, and Greg is also like this, so we are one stream of conversation. And it always seems, people always say that, I talk over him in videos. We're just, supplementing, and that's how our brains have learned to talk. But don't be ashamed of it. If it is real. It is very real. And just because you can't explain something, mine really manifests in, the executive functioning issues. I'm not organized. I struggle with time management. I can't actually tell how much time is passing. Just little things. I forget doctor's appointments literally after I schedule them. I'll schedule it, forget to go. I think I've been kicked out of maybe 3 or 4 actual offices because I've failed to go that many times. I've just missed the appointment and didn't call because I didn't remember. And then when I tell them that, it's I don't think they actually take me seriously. And so it's just always been I know that I struggle with these things, but I guess I never saw myself actually having the diagnosis. I thought that maybe I was just being lazy because my sister had, she had ADHD like as a child, and her hyperactivity was way different than mine. Mine's more of like an internal thing. So I would just say, F everybody else, just do what's best for you. Once I finally like acknowledged that yes, this is real and yes, this is a problem, I have to do something about it. It's been so freaking simple to put these systems in place to actually manage my life. Like I was making such a big deal out of something that didn't have to be that big of a deal. And I'm also a lot happier because I don't have to like socialize outside of the home. I don't like to do that. Like I could exist at home and not go out very often. I leave the house maybe like once a week, and that's totally fine by me. Like I do it to go shopping. As long as I go out and don't have to see anybody or like really interact, I'm good. People think that's weird, but I just like my friends. Like if I have a good friend, I will love hanging out with them. And like we got a rock climbing gym in town and I'm really excited for that. I go roller skating, like I go do stuff, but I just don't do a lot of things with a lot of people. I got some more things. So Game Boy said 120 milligrams methadone for years, then 24 milligrams of Suboxone, and now 24 of Suboxone. You would be surprised how easily you can taper down whenever you're ready from a high dosage like that. The ceiling effect is really nice because the ceiling effect is a really confusing thing, but you can take anything above this certain dose, which is subjective. It depends on the patient. Nobody's going to have the same ceiling effect. Anything over that dose is just negligible. It's just essentially like wasted Suboxone, and it makes it easy to start the tapering process, but when you get down low, it gets a lot harder. Jennifer said, oh, hey, Pink. Pink is my prescription. Is that what this says? Jennifer said, had your son on Subutex. They lied to me about that stuff too with tapering while you're pregnant. Did they tell you to taper or not taper? I had Emerson while I was on Suboxone. I thought for sure that they would switch me to Subutex, but they didn't. They said that at the dosage that I was at, which was 2 milligrams at the time, that it was negligible. He wasn't going to get any of the naloxone if it passed at all. And now that's another actually lie that they had said. They used to say that the naloxone was in there as an opiate blocker, but it's only a blocker if you inject it and if you have it at such a high dosage. So like if you take Suboxone orally, the naloxone can't cross the blood-brain barrier and it can't do anything. Like it doesn't block it. Buprenorphine itself is the blocker. It's what blocks the other opioids because it has a higher affinity. It binds to your opioid receptors. Sometimes I say this stuff and I'm like, does anyone understand what I'm saying? Because I've studied it so much that I know, like, it all makes sense to me. But I feel like I'm just talking out my ass, like, saying words that people are probably like, what is she even saying? I tried to explain it in a video once. I made a video where I broke down, like, what Suboxone is, why the naloxone is in there, how the medications interact with each other and different opioids, and people were just like, no, you're wrong. I was like, no, I'm right, I promise. But that's the actual doctors used to say that it was the other way. I need to get eye drops. I don't think I have any. Yay, I do. I have a bright light behind the camera, or behind my phone, and it makes my contacts dry out. Okay. And then do Game Boy get you 100K and get that YouTube representative. That'd be nice. 100K would be crazy. I don't think I could understand. I just can't process what that would be like. I think like what Jess has, like how your notifications have to be. It just, I get excited with like, my phone has been going off so much. I leave my phone off, or the notifications off of my phone anyway. So I don't ever, that's why I forget to check Instagram a lot. I like the red badge app thing, I turn those things off, and the push notifications. So I only check Instagram when I think about checking it, and it's actually a lot less without those notifications. I used to do it instinctively, so then I moved the apps to the second screen. It's funny how little things like that make me, like, I forget all about it. I don't check Messenger, I don't check Instagram, but I can't imagine if I had 100,000 subscribers, like what it would be like to get those types of like the comments. I'm already starting to get a lot of fun comments now that my one video got a little bit of traction, and it is about sociopaths, so I feel like it makes sense why people are kind of mean. Let's see. Yeah, Jennifer, definitely share your story. I think that more women need to put their stories out there about their pregnancy, but make sure you do it. You know, you did say, I think you said 6 years you've been in recovery now, if I remember that was the correct one. And so that's good. You definitely want to be established in your recovery before you start coming on to YouTube, because it gets ugly. It gets ugly quick. And then, Katie. It's so funny to me because I'm just answering questions. So, like, I'm having conversations right now, if you think about it, with each of you. And if someone comes in and watches this later, this video is going to be like nonsense to them. But I just read each comment and then continue a conversation with another person. But yeah, bounce all over the place. I'm really bad at starting things and then not finishing them. So that's my number one problem with bouncing all over the place. Pink is my prescription. If you are on methadone for pain management and come off of it, can you find it hard to find pain meds that work when you need them, i.e. surgery? If you're off of it, if you are completely off of methadone, you should be able to, you should be fine. Either way, fentanyl binds harder to the opioid receptors. So for people that are on Suboxone or Subutex or even methadone, there is an option for surgery. You just have to make sure that your doctors are informed so that and this anesthesiologist. And anesthesia, I don't know for sure how much it interacts, but I don't believe it interacts with pain medicine as much as, like, I think that anesthesia and pain medicine are a little bit separate. But that I'm not very sure about. But if you come off of the methadone, you should be able to find something for surgery. You should, in theory, be able to use methadone or something else like that, because I don't think you would need to go higher. Oh, the notifications feels like anxiety and panic attacks. Great! I'm looking forward to it. It'll be happening soon. I'm excited. I'm growing. I got some momentum going, and I'm gonna let it go. I found a lot of really good YouTubers that are starting to share their recovery stories. I had 2 of them that were in this comment, or this thread earlier. I'm gonna type their, well, one of them was Jess. Oh no, what'd I do? Live chat. Well, I changed it. There we go. Jess that bee. I don't know if she's still in here. I think that's how it's spelled. She's really good. She's cute. She's sweet, and she's got a really good story, and she's into makeup. I feel like every woman that I see that is on YouTube and in recovery is also big into makeup. I don't know if that's like just a thing, like maybe we got into it late, but okay. Game Boy Greg. Did it say Greg this whole time? I thought it just said Game Boy. I swear it just said Game Boy and not Game Boy Greg. Well, you're correct. Subutex does not have the naloxone in it. And it's usually only prescribed to people that are pregnant. That used to be the number. Okay, my mom just called. I told her not to call. Can you hear me? Gotta make sure that's still going. Can you guys still hear me? Okay, good. My mom called. I told her not to call. I told her to call Greg. And all of a sudden, like, my screen went black. I was like, no! This is what I get for using my phone. I put it on Do Not Disturb, too. So like I was saying, the Subutex is typically prescribed for people that are, one, allergic. There are people that can't have the naloxone for whatever reason, like allergies, or it just doesn't sit well with them. It was prescribed in pregnant women just to avoid giving them naloxone, but that's kind of been proven to not really matter as much, and it's given to people that are coming from things like methadone, because methadone is like, it's a full agonist opioid, so it's much like dope or heroin or oxys or things like that, and you can't have they say that you can't have it. They say that it causes precipitated withdrawals. I don't really think, I think that the buprenorphine itself causes that, because I think that a lot of the stuff that they've put out there about Suboxone in the past, I have so many theories. I guess I could do a whole video about like what I really think about Suboxone, but Suboxone is a crazy drug. I personally have gone from abusing it. Like, I used to carry it with me all the time and never use it because it was my backup plan. I never wanted to use it because when you used it, you were told that it would make you get sick and then you wouldn't be able to use anything else. And like, all of these things are proven to be not as true as they used to be. Subutex cause your baby's withdrawals. I'm sorry, Heather. Thanks, Jason. You didn't have to do that. But they didn't have, like, they don't know what causes the, what was it called? Neonatal abstinence syndrome. Because some women will be at a higher dose. I was at 2 milligrams and didn't have any symptoms with Emerson. Some women will be higher, some will be lower, and I don't really know if there's lots of theories, like they say that you have to stay stable your entire pregnancy and different things like that. Your diet affects it, how much you exercise. I was really healthy at that point in my life. I was exercising a lot. Not anymore. But just know that you still did the right thing by being on Subutex. I know that might not have been a pleasant experience, but you definitely did the right thing, because the wrong thing would have been to be abusing drugs or just being unstable with it. So I know Caitlin said that she likes makeup too. Yeah, I love makeup so much. I just bought a bunch of Profusion palettes online, and I got magnetic eyelashes. I got a whole bunch of them coming in the mail. I'm pretty excited about it. But I'm the only person, I think. I put the magnetic lashes on and I fell in love with them, and then I pulled my eyelashes out with magnetic eyeliner. Not lash glue, just the magnetic eyeliner. Like, I think that takes a special kind of person to make a non-glue pull out your eyelashes. Okay, Dark Overlord. Thanks again, Jason. That's so sweet of you. Dark Overlord, your ex likely has ASPD. You haven't texted him since October. You laid down boundaries and he stopped texting you. You still want to send something like an encouraging text, but don't know if you should. If it's okay, what should you say? Well, I would explore why you don't want to send the text. Because your reasoning might, I don't know, I could make a lot of assumptions. What is your reasoning for not sharing the text? That would be where I would start. If you're afraid that he's going to hurt you again or manipulate you again, or was your boundary to never text you? Because if that was your boundary, you might want to stick with it and find an alternative method of contacting him, if that makes sense. Because once you give in, like, even just like the slightest bit on your boundary, that is a sign of weakness, and like they will just walk all over you. So you need to hold fast if that was what your boundary was. If your boundary was don't contact me often or don't contact me unless I reach out to you first, then then I would maybe explore the idea of contacting them. I mean, having ASPD could mean so many things. It's really, I would definitely just ask yourself why you don't want to reach out to him, because that could tell you a lot. People think that I'm trying to... Do I have a PayPal? I do have a PayPal. I have a Patreon too. I didn't really do much to... Are you in an outpatient recovery place, or do you see a doctor? I see a doctor. I go through therapy. I do not do my clinic is an outpatient clinic, but my therapist is somewhere else, and then I have a recovery coach. But I don't do like 12-step meetings or anything like that. My son's home and my dog. Did you hear that thunder? The fat dog just fell off the bed. But oh, look, now it just went. Okay. It's so weird to see the delay on the cuz it's playing on the computer too, and it's very delayed. If you guys ever want to reach out to me, by the way, I have like contact info stuff in the description of this video, but I'm on Instagram more often than anything, or you can send me an email, and it's just the contact@meganf.com. I try to check it pretty regularly. It's part of my schedule now. Like, I schedule email time. I actually didn't do it today. I know I have a bunch of emails I need to look at, but now that my little boy is home, I'm probably gonna jump off of here. Do you guys like this? Do you want me to do more live streams? You know, I'm like literally here all day, every day. Like, all weekdays. Weekdays are ideal right now because Emerson goes over to his Grammys still and plays. Did I get a new therapist? I am seeing the one through BetterHelp again. I had to stop it for a while because I couldn't afford it when I lost my job, but I went back to the same one. So, which is, BetterHelp is telemedicine. I'm sure you guys know what BetterHelp is, but I absolutely love that app because you can just, it's so convenient. Like, I can send them to text, like, it's literally like I could text them in the moment. Whenever I'm feeling an emotion or whatever, I can send them a text message and describe it way better than I could if I were to recall it later. If I had to recall, you know, I'd go into my appointments like a week or two later trying to recall the information, and I never gave the therapist, I never worked through things because it didn't feel as important as it was in the moment. So that's why I recommend BetterHelp, but BetterHelp has its limitations. You can't be diagnosed, you can't be prescribed medication, and you should supplement with another therapist to do those things if you need it. So Jennifer said, you go to an outpatient, used to do your meetings so many times a week, and then also see a counselor now that you've been there for so long, you only see a counselor once a week. Yeah, I've been in recovery for quite some time now, like 11 years, and I think that it ebbs and flows. You need to know what works best for you at what point. Therapy is going to be something that I'm always going to do because everybody should be in therapy. Everybody would benefit from it, or at least getting like a life coach or something, because it's so hard to see things about ourselves. We can see it in other people so easily and might be missing it in ourselves. So it's nice to have that outside perspective, especially somebody that is like, you're paying to tell you all that shit, like the hard truths. But, right, Caitlin? I know, and I got another video. I'm editing my Q&A, and then I got my doggy video. So, Dark Lord said, thank you for your response. Boundary wasn't no texting, so so it was not getting involved. Well, if getting involved means like starting a relationship, then texting should be okay as long as you don't cross that line. Just make sure whatever boundary you set, you stay 100%, do not cross that line, do not move that line, do not like tiptoe up to it, like just keep it where it is. That's the best advice I can ever give for really in any relationship. But I'm gonna go say hi to Emerson. Thank you guys for hanging out. I'll make a post on my community tab. Let me know if you guys want me to do more live streams. I'm available weekdays. Could do evenings. Hi, baby. You want to come say hi real quick? Here, say hi, because I'm just about to get off. Hi. Hi. My little pumpkin. Yep. Look, and you're over here too. What? Okay, say bye, everybody. Bye. Bye. Bye, guys.